Hello, welcome to Crypto Conscious Episode 2. I'm here with my guest today, Greg Matthews, the real MicroGuy. We wanted to talk about GoldCoin project because, from my understanding, there's this divide, and there's been 2 or 3 websites. There's 2 chats, 2 forums, 2 teams, basically, on this project.
By design, yes.
Yeah, and there's like 2 big known players that are basically polar ends, and that's you and Danny.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't we start by talking about everybody in between and where, like, basically the whole GoldCoin audience is at.
Okay, sure. So GoldCoin, I don't know if we covered this in the last episode, but GoldCoin was created in 2013, and for close to 8 years, we've been working on building a decentralized, trustless, proof-of-work blockchain, which is the future, really, of money. In the future, the cryptocurrencies that are decentralized are going to be the currencies of choice, and so that's what we've been working toward. Essentially, in a nutshell, making an improved version of Bitcoin, and that's what we have in GoldCoin today, with its transaction capacity, with the multiple websites, multiple chats, and things. This gives us that decentralization that we're looking for, where we don't have a central authority. We don't have a top-down pyramidal structure. We look at nodes and we look at players in the project as being equal to one another, and that's essential, really, in creating a decentralized system.
Okay.
Where we don't have one guy that can just turn the switch off. And my concern is, especially with these new revelations, that particular vision is in jeopardy right now in a big way, and that if we don't wake up to what's going on, GoldCoin as we have known it could potentially go away.
The project could just die completely, or it could turn into something else.
It could turn into a centralized system,
right?
Through essentially bad players. And we can see this happen with Bitcoin and Blockstream, where Blockstream came in and started paying off the developers and turning Bitcoin into something that it wasn't designed to be. And that's the same threat we face today with GoldCoin.
Right. With Bitcoin, they're trying to sort of structure it like a credit card or something like that, right?
Well, I think in Bitcoin, what they've done is they've created a system that can no longer operate as it was designed, with transactions occurring on chain, and instead pushing transactions off by throttling the main chain, pushing transactions onto regulated side chains.
Which creates a fee market, meaning it's not free to use anymore.
It creates a fee market, and then it creates regulatory exposure to the currency. So now these node operators that are running Lightning Network will essentially they will become money transmitters that are subject to existing regulation.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with Bitcoin. And GoldCoin now faces a similar threat, with players that have been around for a while being paid off and basically sabotaging the project.
They've been paid off.
Yeah, that's my my observation right now. That's my take on it.
Okay, so there are still like core team members and admin team members that are patriots, you would say, right?
Correct.
For GoldCoin.
Right. So there are still a few players that are on board with a trustless, decentralized, proof-of-work blockchain that has the potential of being a competitive form of money, in the future, perhaps even. In my dream has always been for it to be the number one currency. But I think the only way of being able to do that is to remain decentralized and to remain trustless, and to be more like the original Bitcoin, out of the box Bitcoin, an authentic Bitcoin, but an improvement over that even original design.
Right.
And Bitcoin today is only a shadow of its former self.
The number one coin is not decentralized.
But no, I don't think so.
So that's a pretty big dream to have.
Yeah.
A decentralized at the top.
Correct.
From my understanding, a lot of the exchanges are kind of designed to favor hierarchies that will give rise to the coins and the projects that have CEOs and they have that corporate structure, right?
Right. And so,
but we can get into that in another episode.
Yeah, sure.
But
the quality of a decentralized system is it can't be stopped. So it becomes sovereign, it becomes autonomous, it becomes immune to control.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we need, and what eventually will emerge in our money as human beings on this planet, what will obsolete fiat currency eventually, and what will obsolete centralized cryptocurrencies will be decentralized currencies, eventually decentralized exchanges. And these are things that cannot be stopped. And they cannot be controlled, and that's what we want.
Right, and that's what trustless means. Basically, right. If there are controllers, you have to trust them.
Right, you have to trust them. So you're putting trust in a party, like we put trust in the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. We put trust. If you have a system that is trusted, you're putting trust in some institution, or you're putting trust in some party, a single party. Mm-hmm. A decentralized system. We remove that component of the system.
Yeah, and it's got to be solid and secure. Like a blockchain can't be altered. And
really, what we're trying to do, and the reason that I was initially attracted to GoldCoin is we're trying to create a digital representation, a digital form of gold. So if we look at physical gold, for example, there's no one that can artificially inflate the supply of physical gold. Mm-hmm. It is a sovereign metal,
right?
And it's right. And so what we're trying to do is create a form of money that we can use in commerce, digitally over the internet, that is like physical gold. It's trustless. It's something that can't be artificially inflated. It cannot be stopped. It can't be perverted, or there's no intermediary in transactions. There's no middlemen and things. Yeah. So it's a complex subject, but ultimately what we want is a decentralized system that is trustless. That is going to be the characteristics in our money a decade, 2 decades from now. And that's what all the bankers fear. And and so there's a global concern with something like that, because
of course,
how are they going to control it if it's trustless, if it's decentralized? How will they stop it?
Yeah, and so they've got too much to lose.
They've got way too much to lose. Their whole game goes out up in smoke.
Well, I guess I can understand their fear and the basis for it.
Yeah.
So there's people out there who want to know if a cryptocurrency can be backed by gold.
Well, we tried that 100 years ago. And the problem with that is it's a totally centralized
model
scheme.
Yeah. Okay.
The gold has to be stored somewhere. And then we have to trust the party. In this case that we're getting ready to talk about, a single person. We have to trust that single person to store the gold and make it available to us if we want to redeem our tokens for this for this physical gold. We're gonna have to trust. We're introducing trust into the system. We're basically going back to 100-year-old technology, and we're just taking the decentralized trustless system and we're just throwing it completely out the window.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because when you buy gold, there's professionals out there in the gold market that will warn you, don't get into a gold trust system where you have a certificate and then they say, well, the gold is in this vault and you own it because of this certificate. Right? There's warnings and there's scams out there that, or at least if it's not a scam, it's not totally secure. Like, anything could go wrong, and all you have is a certificate for some gold that might not exist.
Correct, or it may exist for a period of time, and then the company or the institution may go bankrupt, or decide, or they may be dishonest, and they may just decide to what is known in the cryptocurrency world as an exit scam. So there's a common scam that goes on with exchanges where an exchange will launch a legitimate face and appear to be perfectly sound.
Yeah.
And then once they have enough reserves, in other words, people begin to use, because of the nature of human beings, it's just easier just to leave your currency on the exchange. There's a lot of people that have a lot of funds on Binance and Gemini and Coinbase.
That's their wallet.
Instead of having it locally and having access to their private key, they're using the exchange as a bank. And so these smaller exchanges, what they'll do is once they have a few $1 million of reserves, they go belly up, or they can say their exchange was hacked. There's a lot of different ways of going about it, and then they just confiscate all of the users' funds, and the users wind up with zero.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm one of those fools that has my money on different exchanges.
Yeah, and so it's always good to keep it in a local wallet and to have a good backup so that you control your private key, because then you become your own bank. And that's what we want with GoldCoin. So
basically, the only way to buy gold is to have it in your hand, not with a certificate, not with a cryptocurrency, but that's the point of gold.
It's like your private key. When you have a bar of gold in your hand, then you control your private key. You control your money.
Yeah.
So but if it's on a piece of paper, if it's in a vault somewhere, the person that owns the vault owns your money and controls your money.
So what I understand is that the GoldCoin team that you're not on, there's this new website and this new model being created.
Right. And so there's currently, in my view, a conspiracy to take our decentralized project and all of the investors, the entire community, as we know it, and completely dump on them to make their money worth zero, and to roll back GoldCoin into a 100-year-old technology, which is a gold-backed token that's totally centralized and dependent upon a central institution or a central party to hold this gold and keep it safe. So we're rolling back the new modern version, the new modern money, and we're going to go back 100 years and we're going to try that again. And we know how that worked out 100 years ago with the gold-backed dollar.
Right.
Yeah.
It's centralized.
It's totally 100% centralized.
It's not trustless.
It's not trustless. And even to make matters worse, it's an ERC20 token, which is also totally centralized on the Ethereum blockchain, meaning if something happens to Ethereum, all your money gets wiped out. So even if the central authority, the central party that's storing the gold is honest, if something happens to Ethereum, you're also going to lose. So you've got there's two holes here that can be poked. One, if something happens to Ethereum, which we know Ethereum is centralized, it's been rolled back. The Ethereum blockchain has actually been rolled back. So that's a concern. And then we also have the fact that we're trusting this central authority to store the gold.
Yeah, so it's not even a genuine cryptocurrency if it's an ERC20 token, right? It's,
I wouldn't consider it a cryptocurrency. I would
Right.
consider it probably the easiest way for the average viewer to understand it. I would consider it to be a scam, personally.
Okay. That's a fair warning, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, do we want to look at it?
Yeah, let's take a look at the About Us page on GoldCoin.com, which is a new website that we just discovered a few days ago. So not goldcoin.org. This is goldcoin.com.
Okay.
And we're looking at the About page here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the first paragraph on the About Us page. And it's talking about, here at GoldCoin, we believe in the principle of sound money, which is a total joke. And it is this passion that has led us to come together to create a financial asset that gives everyone access to free and honest money. Well, first of all, how is it free? It's not free. So that's ludicrous. In the form of digital gold. And then this is where it really gets a little sketchy. GoldCoin is operated by,
Parentheses, insert company name, end parentheses.
which is incorporated in.
Parentheses, insert company location, end parentheses.
I think I want to pour all my money into this one. There's something about.
Well, so yeah, they obviously just didn't really write. They didn't write this.
They published a
about
website that was totally incomplete.
Yeah, it's just thrown up. It's basically a stock landing page.
Yeah, and I've gone
Okay.
over every single page of this website and looked at the domain whois, and there is absolutely no identifying information. Nowhere will you find a name, an individual name. Nowhere will you find a company name, either here on the website or in the whois of the domain.
Well, so somebody's concealing something, including their identity.
They're concealing their identity, absolutely, and we can only speculate what their plan is
And who they are.
And I think we have enough evidence now that we know who it is and what the plan is.
Mm.
And the plan is, based on my assessment, is to bankrupt all existing GoldCoin owners,
Okay.
to completely wipe out our decentralized cryptocurrency that we've worked on for 8 years, and to leave everybody with zero, to leave everybody belly up, and to replace it with this centralized 100-year-old technology.
Are there enough investors that it's going to be worth it to these people?
Well, and this individual who is living in Dubai, his name is Danny. This individual, this is his vision, is to create a currency that he controls entirely,
Okay.
and to replace GoldCoin as it exists today with this vision. That's his plan.
Okay. On top of that, he's also he's got other projects and he's launching his own exchange.
Yes, he's been trying to launch BlockFinex for about 2 years, and for the last year or so, when people ask when, it's next week.
Right, yeah, for 2
And
years
so it'll be
now.
next week.
Yeah,
Next week.
And it's still not launched.
Correct. Yeah.
I wouldn't consider this project launched either.
Right. Well, yeah, because we're talking about insert company name. This is indicative of the type of work that they put out. It's incomplete, half-assed type stuff like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pattern.
Hell yeah, that's definitely a pattern.
Okay.
Right. And so I think as a GoldCoin owner myself and a community member, I'm wondering, are we gonna tolerate this? Are we gonna allow this to happen? That's the thing. And I can't stop it alone, single-handedly. The two of us can't stop it alone. It's going to take people within the community waking up, taking a look, doing their homework, and saying, "Hey, wait a minute! This is not acceptable. We're not gonna take this."
Do you think the success of this project hinges on the GoldCoin community?
100%, 100%. And I think, this program and what we're trying to do right now is educate the viewer and educate the community. I think personally that this might be the last chance that GoldCoin has to prevent this hostile takeover from occurring.
Yeah. Is it a narrow window we're in now?
I'd say so.
Because, I mean,
I'd say we're probably days rather than weeks, maybe weeks rather than months.
Wow. I mean, the pattern, as you said, has been very slow. Like 2 years now, it's been next week.
Right. And well, the thing about it is, if we look at some of the past behavior from Danny, he has intentionally dumped the GoldCoin currency on the exchanges in order to suppress the price, in order to cripple the project, and to just basically discourage everyone from really participating or having any hope at all. And now we're in this point of capitulation where everyone is just thrown in the towel and saying it must be over, which was his plan all along, so that he can now roll out his centralized currency.
Right. I mean, the people want the decentralized, the original vision. And so when he first came in, you thought he wanted that too. And and from my understanding, what happened was, he bought up a lot of GoldCoin.
Yeah.
And then he dumped it on the market to drop the value of it so that he could buy domain, he could buy the Twitter handle, or just gain control because it's a dead currency. He wanted to kill it, squash it, and own it.
He wanted to kill it off and then replace it with this.
So there's a lot of evidence for that theory, right? So
definitely.
And when the coins were dumped on the marketplace, I understand that the address was traced back to him, right? Proving that he was the one who dumped millions of coins.
On two separate occasions.
And he bought them on the premise of increasing the price.
Correct.
To bring up the ship.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened. And so now what we need to figure out is, how are we going to prevent this from happening? And what are the next steps, I think? What are the next steps in avoiding this catastrophic event from occurring?
Well,
and we really haven't explored that, I guess, that much. But at some point, we need to look at solutions, I think.
There are investors in GoldCoin. There's 41 million coins out there, right? Or is that the cap, and they haven't all been mined yet?
No, there are approximately 41 million in circulation with a cap of 72 million.
Okay, so there's plenty of people who have stock in it, and
there's plenty of people that have invested in GoldCoin, but like I was indicating earlier, most of them have just given up and thrown in the towel. And it's primarily because of his actions in dumping and creating chaos and creating, throwing a wrench in the motor and intentionally, damaging the project. On
CoinMarketCap, there was this warning, and there's 2 websites, 2 forums, 2 chats, and this warning that says basically it's there's this red flag warning that states that there's no central control team. Or
it said, I think the warning said something to the effect, there are 2 parties claiming ownership of this project. Investors should do their due diligence.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. But that's not really an accurate label, the warning label that was on CoinMarketCap, because I'm not claiming ownership of this project, and there were never 2 parties claiming ownership of this project, because simply a decentralized project doesn't have owners.
Right,
and so the whole mentality of the warning and the whole language in the warning was erroneous.
Okay. But is this the chaos that when you said chaos, is this what you're referring to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So going back like a year, like say before he bought the coins, was that warning there, and was there this division before that?
Well, no, because there weren't 2 websites listed, and there weren't 2 chats, and there weren't 2 message boards, and we didn't have this decentralized layer that we were that was urgently needed. What happened was there was one website that Danny controlled. There was one Telegram that Danny controlled, and a few of us saw the writing on the wall and saw the direction that he was going, and decided that we would introduce more websites and more chats, that we would try to find a solution, to this hostile takeover that's currently underway.
Uh-huh.
And so that was what prompted CoinMarketCap to say, hey, wait a minute, who owns this project? We've got all these people, and there's multiple things, and we don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so in that chaos, CoinMarketCap decided to cover their butts and put the warning up.
The crap all hit the fan kind of at once.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, the coin was doing well, right?
Yeah, the coin was doing well. I mean, it did suffer when Bitcoin dropped from 20,000 down. I think it went back down to 3,000.
Yeah.
All cryptocurrencies suffered, and so GoldCoin fell from its all-time high of 50 cents. Now, historically, even when we were really doing well, it was around 20 cents. It fell to 6 cents, and it was around 6 cents when Danny came in and started started to roll out his plan.
Oh, but it fell with the crash in 2017, but it came back up in 2018, didn't it, on its own?
Well, yeah, it came back. It did come up, and I think we leveled out at around 6 cents, and we were at 6 cents for quite a while. And then, of course, with his dumping and that continuous selling pressure being applied to the market, he was able to get the price under a penny, and ultimately it fell to 0.3 cents with the constant selling pressure, millions of coins being dumped on the market.
And then he succeeded in getting more control of the project.
Right, because then we have capitulation in the market, people giving up, people saying it's over, and people thinking it's the end of the road. And which was the plan all along, because now that if everybody gives up, opens the door up to roll this out.
And there's this carrot on a stick of what's coming is
well, there was a carrot on a stick for a while, but now the carrot's not on the stick. Now it's just fuck you. You're gonna lose. I don't care anymore. Everybody's gone away anyway, and we're gonna shove this centralized system, this ERC20 token, down everybody's throats.
Yeah, it seems like. I've looked through the chats, both of them, and it seems like people are fed up and they're pretty much given up on it, and there's not a lot of high opinion about Danny or you.
Right, exactly, yeah. And that's been true for 8 years, when GoldCoin, because I was perceived as the leader of GoldCoin for 7 years. And so, like anything else, it's like a football team. If you're winning games, and if the price is high, you're a hero, you're a superhero. But if you're start to slip and the price starts to fall, you're the villain. And that's fine. I can handle that. That's the heat that I took. But I never projected myself or never claimed to be the leader. What I want is a decentralized currency to replace fiat currencies. I want a decentralized currency that will give people freedom to be their own bank, and a form of gold that's digital and sovereign. And that still is my dream, and I think it's possible. I think we can still achieve that, but it's going to take a collective effort, and the community is going to have to rally behind us in order to prevent this outcome that we're talking about here.
Oh, that's our timer, so take a 2-minute break here.
Okay.
All right, so we were saying that the success of this GoldCoin takeover hinges on the GoldCoin team, and not just the team, but the community. And
right,
they own GoldCoin.com, which is not good news, but no. There's also GoldCoinWeb.com, and that's
the concern would be this: that the saboteurs, the individuals that are trying to kill off GoldCoin, they own both goldcoin.org and goldcoin.com. This is a grave concern because goldcoin.org right now is website 1 on our CoinMarketCap page. And so if we're going to try to spin a narrative, if we're going to try to co-opt a GoldCoin, having control over goldcoin.org is a very powerful tool to have in your toolkit. And so this is sort of like the Titanic, and there's an iceberg, 10 meters ahead. And if we want to steer around that iceberg, we're going to have to start taking action now. We're going to have to really roll up our sleeves, and we're going to all have to collectively come together and say, we're mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. And we're going to have to stand up for what we believe in, stand up for the principles that we believe in, and we're going to have to fight. And that's the only way we're going to prevent this from happening.
Well, if it looks like a lot of the community is already turned on Danny,
right?
So that's not enough. We have to fight harder than that.
Well, this is the problem. It's like when we look at Bitcoin and Blockstream. We had patriots, the Satoshi patriots, in the Bitcoin core team at one point. Gavin Andresen, Mike Hearn, and we had others. And Blockstream and banks were able to come in and buy out and pay off and turn the developers into essentially into sellouts. And that's why we have 1 megabyte blocks, and that's why Bitcoin has been completely altered and modified into something that's more controllable. And so that's the same thing that we have going on right now. Danny has a big pocketbook, and he's paying off existing developers that we have within our team. He's paying them off. I know of at least one. And they are basically turning against everything that we've worked on, everything that we've worked for. And because they're getting paid, they're doing shit like this. Like that logo there, that big logo that we can't really see that well on the screen there, that was created by one of the GoldCoin team members.
Sure, okay.
Because he was simply paid to create it. And so money is a very powerful thing. And so some people would rather have money than ideals and values and loyalty.
Okay, so you talked about website 1 on CoinMarketCap.
Right.
And what's website 2? Is that also?
The website 2 is owned by a very honorable gentleman, Gerald, Dr. G we call him, and I have editorial control over goldcoinweb.com. And so that website will never be converted into a gold-backed ERC20 scam coin. And so we will be able to maintain the integrity of that website for sure.
And but how does that tie into the CoinMarketCap page? Having two websites on that page means that one of them is going to have to win out,
right?
Eventually.
Well, so CoinMarketCap is evolving, and their level of their policies change, their criteria changes. And we have other assets that we still control, like the original Bitcoin Talk announcement thread, and the Twitter account, and the source code on GitHub. And so the team that supports the decentralized currency has the majority of resources, and CoinMarketCap looks at the totality of that, and they make a decision on which which links and which resources are valid. And I believe that if, for example, GoldCoin.com were to start promoting a gold-backed ERC20 token, or, for example, let's just say redirect the website goldcoin.org, redirect that to goldcoin.com, and basically make an announcement. For example, we're switching over to this gold-backed token. I don't believe that CoinMarketCap would recognize that as a legitimate change, and they would probably either remove the link or make it another warning message. But I don't think CoinMarketCap will go along with that, especially if we can get support from the community. CoinMarketCap listens to people when they send in messages and they say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. And if we look at message board 2 right now, it's not even functional. Message board 2 is just like this About Us page where we have insert company name and insert company location. Message board 2, which is controlled by Danny and his crew, is not even has not worked. It's not been functional in months. It has a big error message that comes up.
Okay.
And so if, for example, the community were to contact CoinMarketCap and say, why do we have a link on our page, on our CoinMarketCap page, that hasn't worked in months? Why is that link still there? CoinMarketCap would take it down.
Well,
And if GoldCoin.com were to GoldCoin.org, excuse me, were to, make this drastic change, and all of a sudden it's a gold-backed token, and people complained about it, and the community said, hey, wait a minute, that's not right, they would take it down.
so Danny's got a lot of money, but it sounds like there's not a lot of momentum and force behind his projects, or
Right.
at least these ones.
Well, they're not. They're just not. They're not being done on any sort of. There's no competency in any of it. It's just all, fly by the seat of your pants and do everything halfway, and there's just no excellence in any of it. It's just all garbage.
Right.
We can look at BlockFinex as garbage, GoldCoin.com. This website is garbage. And basically they're just cranking out garbage. But that doesn't mean they can't succeed if everybody just gives up.
Right.
The garbage will win. The garbage.
So it's not an iceberg in front of the Titanic. It's a heaping, floating pile of
garbage.
Okay. Well, that looks a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. But the two of us, Tim and I, we're not enough to overcome this pile of garbage. We need the community. We need you, the viewer, to wake up and decide, what do you want? Do you want 100-year-old technology with your gold stored in his vault? Or do you want a decentralized, trustless system, that could replace all other forms of money? I know which one I like.
Do you think this community decision could cause him to give up?
I think so. I think if we can get people to wake the hell up and listen and think for themselves, the choice is obvious. The choice is crystal clear. There's no competition between the two. It's just simple. A kindergarten student could figure this out. But we can't be silent. We can't be quiet. We have to speak out. We have to speak up and say, hey, we're not going to do this. This is a community, and you're not going to come in here and you're not going to kill us. You're not going to kill our community. We're not going to take it.
Well, you've put a lot of work into it.
We've all put a lot of work into it, and it's not over yet. But if we continue to be silent and sit on our hands, then will happen. This will happen. And so it's up to us. Are we gonna take it or not? Are we gonna just completely roll over, or are we gonna stand up for what we believe in? And are we gonna continue to create this wonderful currency and continue to improve it? I mean, we have a lot of things that we want to do, like privacy,
right,
proof of participation. Lots of great ideas. We don't need those right now.
Yeah.
But in the years to come, we will need to continually evolve to be competitive.
Well,
but this is going backward. This is going backward 100 years. Do we want to go back 100 years, or do we want to go into the future?
Right. So that was one of the features of real gold in your hand. Was privacy was one of the features of real gold.
Right. And cash too. A cash transaction is private as well.
Yeah. And an ERC20 token is nowhere near private. Right.
Well, I don't know about this specific contract. I would have to peel it back and look at this particular contract and how it's designed. But this is total garbage. So, I mean, I don't even feel like that's even necessary to even explore, because this is just on its surface so obvious that it's just crap.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you know what you want. And the vision for GoldCoin from your standpoint, hasn't changed much.
No, and I think we've lost this potential in Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto's vision is laughed at by Blockstream.
Mm-hmm.
The CTO of Blockstream ridicules anyone who even mentions Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of this decentralized, trustless system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The same way that the mainstream media ridicules conspiracy theorists.
Right.
If you support Satoshi Nakamoto's vision publicly, you will be ridiculed by Blockstream.
I understand.
Okay? And what we have right here with GoldCoin, the cryptocurrency that we've been working on, the proof of work blockchain, we have the potential to fulfill Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of a trustless, decentralized system. And I don't really know of one that exists. This, I mean, I don't know of one that exists. And this is our chance to create something that could really change the world. We have the potential of creating the greatest form of money that's ever existed by far, that will obsolete all other currencies. We can do that with GoldCoin. But this is, we're at a crossroad right now, and we got to decide which road we want to take. Do we want to go backward and go into the centralized junk, or do we want to move forward and evolve and fulfill that vision that Satoshi had?
Well,
it's our choice.
I love the vision. I guess we'll see how things unfold.
Okay.
See how the community responds. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. Well, MicroGuy, thanks for coming on and sitting down with me tonight.
Thank you.
And
thank you, Tim. Really, seriously. We're very fortunate to have this guy coming on board right now. Very fortunate. This could be our last chance. Are we gonna capitalize on this opportunity, or are we gonna waste it? That's up to us to decide as the community.
Well, I'll be here.
Okay.
I'm not far away, and we'll do episodes consistently.
Yep.
With some consistency.
With different hosts. Different guests, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're gonna take this show, and we're gonna run with it. It's gonna be fantastic.
Okay.
All right, man.
Great. Good night.
All right. Good night. Thanks, everyone.